relax lang. Kasi initially, syempre, people would panic, diba? I think a few days after nag-lockdown, our markets dropped by what, 40%, diba? Sobrang steep ng drop. If you are regular pay VUL, you don't really have to worry kasi technically you're cost averaging on probably a year-to-year basis or a month-to-month basis depending on sa payment mode mo. Ang mas mag-worry usually is the single pay, yung mga malalaking amounts of ano. But again, if you get life insurance, the purpose of it is life insurance first before investment. So, and usually life insurance is really for the long term. When long term, ang pinag-usapan natin dito is like 15, 20, 30 years but na you keep your money there. So at this point, there's really no point of withdrawing kasi mawawala yung coverage mo, mawawala yung insurance coverage mo, and lugi ka pa in terms of your account values, especially if you got it early last year or 2 years ago or even 3 years ago. So you just have to wait unless siguro you really need the cash.
So, hi guys, we're in again for another lockdown learning where during the lockdown, the goal is you learn and not just spend a lot of time watching Netflix. Netflix is good, but it's time for some Marvflix naman, di ba? Marvflix naman tayo. Anyways, for this video, let's talk about life insurance naman. And I think there's a lot of questions that all of you have sent out. And we have someone who I know is very, very adept, especially talking about life insurance, and it's nice to get different perspectives towards life insurance. I'd like to introduce you guys to Jeremy Jesley Tan, who's been a registered financial planner for, I think, tagal na rin, 8 years na yata, 9 years.
Yeah, mga ganon, 7 years, mga
7 years. So he's been exposed also to the life insurance industry for how many years na rin naman?
Same.
And then for almost the same period.
7 years.
Let's get into the thick of things. And then before we get to the thick of things pala, how are you? How's your family? Okay naman kayo dyan? You're in your rest house in Batangas? Parang ganun ba yun? Or
hindi yan rest house. Permanent resident
okay, go.
of Batangas. I'm in Lipa. So, dito naman it's not as grabe as Manila. Although we have some cases, pero hindi ganun kadami so far. So, hopefully, hindi na siya dumami. And we're also on lockdown so bawal rin lumabas.
Okay. Pero anong experience kung mayaman ka naman dyan tulad mo na hindi naman masyado kailangan, may mga taga naman. So, anong feeling? Are you affected ba or hindi naman?
Affected din kasi we, aside from doing financial advice, we also have a business na affected din yung employees.
Okay. And
syempre isipin mo rin how would they be if walang work for a month, or right now parang it's more than a month na So mahirap rin. Affected.
Tama ba? Was that your appliance store, Ben, or farm? I can't remember what was it.
Glassware.
Layo ng hula ko.
Glassware.
Or si Maori yun. Anyways, question, life insurance. Number 1, down yung VUL. What should people do? Should they take out their life insurance? Should they add some more? Or hold lang sila, relax lang sila? VUL.
At this point, siguro, relax lang. Kasi initially, syempre, people would panic. Diba? I think a few days after nag-lockdown, our markets dropped by what, 40%, diba? Sobrang steep ng drop. If you are regular pay VUL, you don't really have to worry kasi technically you're cost averaging on probably a year-to-year basis or a month-to-month basis depending on sa payment mode mo. Ang mas mag-worry usually is the single pay, yung mga malalaking amounts of ano. But again, if you get life insurance, the purpose of it is life insurance first before investment. So, and usually life insurance is really for the long term. When long term, ang pinag-usapan natin dito is like 15, 20, 30 years but na you keep your money there. So at this point, there's really no point of withdrawing kasi mawawala yung coverage mo, mawawala yung insurance coverage mo, and lugi ka pa in terms of your account values, especially if you got it early last year or 2 years ago or even 3 years ago. So you just have to wait unless siguro you really need the cash. Yun lang siguro yung biggest ano doon, kasi at this point parang without work, some people would really be desperate na parang they'll look for money wherever they can. So yun, there's really no need to worry kasi after this siguro mga a month or 2 months, 3 months, hopefully we normalize after that, and then balik na naman tayo with the sa stock market. I think you probably know better than me, pero most likely after a year or so siguro babalik na naman tayo to where we were.
Okay. Yung second part ng question was, should they actually add to the regular payments now? Or since you mentioned two things, there are people na naglalagay regularly and there are people na may one-time payment. So same question, if you're doing regular payment, do you suggest they add more, they top up? And then for people who are doing one-time payment also, do you also suggest that they add more top up at this point in time?
Yes, if they want to increase their account value, and if that's the purpose really, if one of the purpose of why they got a VUL insurance, then they can top up para lang ma-boost yung account value nila. I think top ups would be more applicable to those who got a single pay VUL, pero for those who got a regular pay or a limited pay na VUL, which is they pay like for 10 years to pay or even more, 15, 20 years to pay, they can top up. Pero I would suggest that if their purpose is to go into, magta-top up lang sila to make money, they might as well top up dun sa mga mutual funds na lang kasi that's lower charges plus yung potential of getting the return quicker is there. Kasi like I said, probably in 2-3 years, medyo okay na tayo. Pag if you top it up in a VUL, mas matagal yung holding period mo. And you might be disappointed na by the time na gusto mo i-withdraw kasi kumita ka, hindi mo magagawa. So I think it's top up is mas preferred ko, you just top up on a single pay VUL. Pero if you don't have a single pay VUL, might as well put it in a mutual fund na lang.
That's a very, very good answer. Another one, you mentioned kanina that if your timeline is 20-30 years, then okay lang, you can hold, it's okay. What's your advice naman for people right now that are watching? Kasi the people watching this YouTube channel is around 25 to 45 years old. So what's your advice for people who are in the upper range na sa 45, na sa 50 na baka 30 years might be too long naman for them? Is 10-15 years a good time frame for them to be able to hold on to this?
Yes. So if the top up sila, a 10-year time frame is, I think medyo okay na yan. Kasi I think, again, I don't think this virus would, keep us locked down for the next year or 2 years. So eventually, titigil din siya and eventually the markets will recover. And a 10-year period, medyo okay na rin yan na time frame to get recovery. But again, like I said, if they're looking for returns and they want to realize the returns kaagad, the VUL is, ang holding period dyan matagal So some clients of mine get disappointed kasi nga, by the time na kumita na, hindi kaagad nila ma-withdraw because of the charges and all. Unlike if they put it in a purely investment fund, then mas mabilis nila ma-realize yung return. So it really depends on your goal or objective. So like if you're 45, you top it up in a VUL, you expect to get it mga 55 ka na. But some people are really not. Ideally ganun, pero realistically, some people can't wait na to get or realize the returns na, especially if medyo malaki na.
Okay. For those naman that we are in this era where there's lockdowns, we are in this era where some people are scared also kasi may virus. For those that you think may kailangan ng insurance, what kind of insurance, life insurance, should they get right now? What's something that's very, very, I think, relevant to the times also?
Okay, so usually ang misconception talaga sa insurance is that people think it's just kapag namatay, you'll get your benefits, yung beneficiary mo would get your benefits. Some of the insurance na lumalabas ngayon and mas popular ngayon are those that have health coverage na that can provide you daily hospital income. So, for example, nagkasakit ka due to the virus or any illness for that matter, you can and then na-confine ka sa hospital, you can get daily hospital income of, let's say, 2,000, 3,000 a day that can help you with your daily expenses. Yun yung isa sa mga medyo mas nagiging aware yung mga tao ngayon, yung health, parang HMO siya, pero it's not really HMO na pwede kang outpatient lang, but this is more of confinement. Pag na-confine ka, you get certain benefits. And then if long-term yung confinement mo, 30 days or more, then you get additional benefits. These are the types of health coverage na mas marami nang aware and mas gusto ng mga tao kasi they get it. Kahit na hindi sila critically ill, kahit na hospital lang sila for fever and they had to be confined. So it's magandang protection benefits ang binibigay nito in terms of your replacing your income. So these are reimbursables, na you pay it first and then you file for reimbursement. Babalik naman sa'yo whatever is the coverage that you have. Also, again, still, one of the more kumbaga, famous or mas gusto ng mga tao ngayon is also the critical illness coverage. Na kumbaga for them, for us, feeling namin mahal magkasakit and I think people would realize that na mahal magkasakit, and as much as possible you don't want to na magulat na lang biglaan and then just na wala ka palang pambayad, you haven't prepared. So insurance is a big help when it comes to being critically ill as well. So yun yung mga medyo new benefits. Siguro hindi naman sila new kasi ever since meron na, but these are the benefits na mas nagiging aware yung mga tao on top of the life insurance coverage.
You mentioned about all of these benefits, and the advantages and the pros and cons of it. I wanted to ask also that in this time, so you're saying that it's applicable to everyone, that they should still apply, get something, even though we are in this period also. That's okay.
When you say apply or get something, is to get an insurance?
Yeah.
Kung kaya. Kasi, like I said, since lockdown tayo, insurance requires, at least here in the Philippines, requires a face-to-face meeting so that they can sign the needed paperwork and all. But I think if you are thinking about getting insurance, habang lockdown, you can talk to a financial advisor already. Kasi minsan, hindi naman some of the clients, it's not an instant decision that they make. Sometimes it takes a lot of questions bago ma-close ang isang insurance application. So, ma-finalize ang gusto ng client. So, at this point, siguro the lockdown, the best we can do is, assess and help you guys in terms of knowing ano ba yung needs nyo, ano ba yung gusto nyo mangyari, ano ba yung why are you trying to get insurance, para when the lockdown, gets lifted, then at least mabilis na lang for the signing. But again, there's really no right or wrong time to get insurance. If you don't have it, if you lack insurance, it's always a good time to have it. And now na wala kang sakit, then later on if it's too late.
Another question on top of that, I want to address naman, how about people that because of this lockdown, unsure sila sa revenue nila for the next quarter? Probably I'll give you an example, and I've asked this question to a lot also of either freelancers or entrepreneurs. Wedding photographer sila, events videographer, or they're a wedding coordinator, or alam mo yung na-disrupt because of this. Do you suggest that they still get, kasi may uncertainty pa rin, or they wait until their revenue becomes better also?
Sa mga ganyan, ako, I just take a stance of being practical. You can still get, yes, definitely, but syempre, value pa rin natin na hindi natin alam anong pwede mangyari in the future. But at the same time, balance it with practicality. Kaya ba talaga? How much ang kaya? Baka kasi some people think na pag kumuha sila, they need to get a big amount agad. But there are insurances na cheaper. So, it's really a matter of being practical in the sense that yes, you can get, pero think of it na ano yung kaya mo ngayon, and that would be enough already. Kung if you're worried about your future or hindi mo sure kung how long would this be lifted, or even if this gets lifted, hindi mo alam kung the business would come back agad, ganun kabilis. So I think it's more of practicality. You still consider getting, pero if you're unsure of your future, try to get a smaller coverage na lang muna. At least you get yourself started, and then later on, if business gets back, you can you can already get a higher coverage na lang if mas secure ka na dun sa future mo.
Are you okay naman kayo savings ngayon for the families? Okay. So
yeah, okay naman. Well, thankfully okay naman kasi I've learned, I've met some people na medyo nahihirapan, especially yung mga employees namin na hindi talaga sila nakapag-save at least ng malaki enough for such an uncertainty. Pero personally, we're okay naman.
Okay. Is that because you placed a preference also on emergency funds? Meron ka talagang savings at rainy day, emergency fund, hugot, yun?
Oo. Actually, dito mo talaga ma-realize yung value of having an emergency fund kasi with this uncertainty, 1 month or 2 months, medyo malaking bagay, especially for someone like me rin na freelancer, and someone for us sa family namin who owns a business na wala rin kaming income kasi close din lahat. So this is where we really value an emergency fund.
I have a question on top of that. No? Ngayon lang realize ng mga tao na an emergency fund is so important kasi when times were good, lahat ng mga tao, hindi, enjoy muna ako, I'll buy this first, or on the flip side naman extreme, but ang mag-emergency fund, it's losing money to inflation from the bank, I'll just invest in the stock market. Ngayon, people are seeing it so important. Now, we will get through this lockdown, things will get better. When people start earning again, what should they prioritize first? Should they get an insurance first or build up that emergency fund?
Depends on the budget that they have for whatever. Kasi you can do both at the same time. Put a small amount to emergency fund, at the same time get yourself already covered.
Okay.
Kasi if you have, let's say, a budget of 5,000 a month, that's a significant amount na. You can do 2.5 for your emergency fund, 2.5 for your investment, or whatever percentage that you feel comfortable for either. So again, ang rule ko for emergency fund, di ba, usually we tell the people na parang 3 to 6 months, you have to build your emergency fund that's good for 3 to 6 months. Ako personally, the longer you could last with your emergency fund, the better kasi wala nang mawawala sa'yo if you save that much money. Ang importante you do it, no? So even if you have the 3 to 6 months na fund na naipon, you could lower the percentage naman later on, like kunyari 2.5 ka for a 5,000 a month budget, 2.5 ka on the emergency fund, 2.5 on the insurance, and then pag na-build mo na yung 6 months emergency fund mo, you could just do 1.5 for your emergency fund and then the 3.5 for get additional coverage for your insurance. Pwedeng ganun yung balance that you can do. So you can do a little bit of both at the same time. Pero if you want to really prioritize one, I think start with an emergency fund, or at least put 80 to 90% of it in an emergency fund, and probably get a term insurance lang na sobrang cheap lang naman term insurance like 500,000 coverage gives you mga 3.5 a year. So maliit lang yun. So sa 5,000 na budget, wala pang 1,000 yun a month. So you can do a bigger percentage on your emergency fund to start, and then lower it as habang nabibuild up siya.
Got it. Galing. Feeling ko, looking at you, no, feeling ko pang 25 years yung emergency fund mo. So kahit mag-lockdown ng 25 years, you will hold the fort, you will hold the line. Lahat ng mga tao, saan daw kakain si Jeremy just litan pa na,
okay, hindi katulad mo.
I'm chill in Batangas, okay lang, 25 years. Ano mas importante para sa'yo? Unahin yung love life o emergency fund?
Love life.
Dahil?
Ha?
Dahil?
Pag hindi mo prioritize, Baka ikaw yung ma-emergency.
Anyways, next question is this. You said kanina, go for term naman. Okay? My question is this. Yung risk mo, ay, you said kanina na pwedeng you can go for, yung risk mo naman is, di ba yung term renew siya?
Ano yun? Sorry?
Renew yung term insurance?
Yeah.
Is there a risk ba na 7 years after, for example, nagka-diabetes sila, they might not get approved also. So, yun yung difference of getting something na naka-lock in sa long term versus something na pag-renew mo tapos nagbago yung health mo, baka things might change also in terms of how you get an insurance?
Pag term ka naman, you're guaranteed insurability, meaning as long as you pay your premiums annually, covered ka every time. So even if you, kasi let's say this year nagbayad ka, covered ka na eh. And then the following year, bago pa umabot sa due date mo, you pay, covered ka na ulit. So you really don't have to worry about, yung ganon kasi guaranteed insurability siya. They don't assess you na sa renewals kung healthy ka or hindi. So you don't have to worry about that.
Sorry, I didn't say the question properly. But you get a cheap term insurance, then 7 years later, gusto mo magdagdag, gusto mo na mag-increase. Sabi mo kasi kanina, if you get more money or mo, kailangan mo magdagdag sa insurance mo. Yung risk lang nun is if there's a change in your health status, baka you might not get it anymore, baka you might pay something more expensive. Parang ganun, no? Can you expound?
Yes. Nagets ko na yung tanong mo. So let's say you have term insurance now and then later on you want to get a new insurance that has probably a more benefits. Then yung risk nga nun is that you could get declined, especially if meron ka ng pre-existing condition by the time that you do the new application. So yun yung risk nun. But again, at the same time, having met clients, minsan practicality also comes into play na we can't really force clients to get something pa dahil nga wala silang pambayad. So in the end, sila rin yung magsasuffer. They might have been paying something that's more than what they can afford. And then later on, hindi na nila matuloy yun. So sayang din naman yung coverage. But again, as I say, kung kaya mo to get insurance agad as early as now or then might as well get it while you're healthy, and it's cheaper while you're younger.
Okay. So comment below, guys, if you're learning, kasi that's why we're giving you different topics, different opinions of different people also. So you get educated during this lockdown period. So you get to learn as much as you can. My next question naman is this basically. For example, this lockdown drags on. Tapos, you are a person who has VUL, you are a person who has mutual funds, you are a person who has UITFs. Tapos talagang wala ng cash. What do you suggest that they should withdraw first? Hierarchy, mutual funds, UITF, and VUL. Assuming na lang pareho silang equity lahat. Para equal siya. How would you put a hierarchy into it?
For me, I think you pull out first those that don't have insurance components, for the reason that insurance serves a different purpose than in terms of the financial foundation, diba? So at least the investment side, you don't have insurance in. So even if you withdraw it, there's really not much impact in terms of the financial security that you have in terms of getting yourself insured. So if you pull out your VUL, then hindi ka na rin insured. So you lose two things kaagad, na hindi ka insured, and then if nagkasakit ka, wala ka na palang pera. What would you do with the naiwan na mutual fund? So you get probably the mutual funds first, or whatever investments that you have that are easier to liquidate, and then before you withdraw from your VUL, if you're really desperate in terms of cash, kailangan mo na talaga.
Okay. Got it. Anong strategy mo ngayon that will, for you personally also, that will keep you afloat in times like this? If you know someone na tingin mo they're not doing so well, anong papayo mo sa kanila? What can they do during this lockdown period where everyone's scared and everyone does not know what to do. Kasi this is something that no one thought at the end of 2019 this will happen. No one forecasted this to happen also. Pati lahat ng mga when people talk about kahit mag-crash yung buong mundo, as long as Filipinos spend, the economy will thrive. Ngayon, people are projecting the economy to go at best 4% GDP, at worst 0%. Why? Because Filipinos are not going out because of the lockdown and people are scared also. Ayaw nilang mahawaan. What's your advice for people who need income right now?
And I also heard na parang first yata tayo among the third world countries to implement a lockdown. So it's really kumbaga uncharted territory for a country like us. No? Siguro at this point, since hindi na nga pwede lumabas, hindi na pwedeng gumimik or magpa-deliver from Lazada or whatever, I think better is to really save. Kumbaga, wag na masyadong mag-spend on things na hindi naman kailangan. Especially on necessities. Alam ko pwede mag-supermarket and all, pero sometimes people still spend on like junk foods or foods na hindi naman nila talaga, hindi naman necessity. So might as well lower your expenses on those or eliminate the expenses na lang on those items and or maybe limit the expenses on. I know mahirap lumabas especially sa Manila and people would rather have food delivered, so maybe get, instead of having food delivered, baka tiyagain mo na lang to go to the supermarket muna ng sandali, then kasi makakatipid ka than getting your food delivered na gawa na if you order from McDonald's or whatever or any fast food chain. So really lowering down the expenses would really help, lowering down the lifestyle, lowering down the expenses. Some of the naman, yung mga bills other than the utility bills, insurance premiums, the due dates have been adjusted or extended in terms of paying your premiums, especially if your premium is due ng March. I think most, if not all, of the companies extended their grace period to 60 days. So somehow that would be a relief for the payer, so at least mababawasan yung ibang expenses. So yun, and then for yun talaga yung pinaka na-realize ko this time with this lockdown is that you don't really need much to live. Kumbaga simple lifestyle lang, simple lang na pagkain, okay na we will all survive already. So I think yun lang yung magagawa nila for at least for now.
Galing mo talaga. Another question. So parang you were saying that kung super imported yung corned beef nila or mamahalin, color white yung corned beef nila, mag-downgrade muna sila. Norte na muna, parang ganon. Corned beef.
Pag hindi talaga kaya.
Iba yung lasa from yung hotdog mo na imported, mag-ano ka na muna, letter C muna or letter M na brand. Ganun na lang na baka yun, so you can downgrade pero at least makakain ka pa rin. Tama ba?
Ganun. Yeah. Okay. Definitely.
Okay.
Imbis na konting tiis lang kasi again, this will not happen. Di naman to pang habang buhay na it's a short setback lang to our lives. So I think although for some it's a big impact, pero again, ang positive side naman yan is it will all end. So eventually, so ngayon tiis muna, and then later on if you want to, pag okay na lahat and bumalik na sa normal yung income and all, you can go back to the luxury brands, kumbaga.
Okay, last two questions. And tinanong ko to sa'yo kanina before we started, no? Being someone in the financial advisory industry, I got a lot of questions also from people in the same industry as you na medyo kinakabahan sila na parang, how will this happen? Paano kung walang pumasok, walang income? What should I do? Being someone na medyo nasa hacienda, mayaman sa Batangas, what's your advice? What's your advice for them naman na how can they weather this storm also? Kasi siguro hindi lang din naman sila. Let's put freelancers there also na madaming freelancers also today that probably they lost a lot of projects as well. Yan. So, or I'll add it also, for example, nagtatrabaho ka sa Toyota, wala namang bibili ng kotse ngayon, so wala kang commission din, ganyan. So, that sector, what should they do?
Pinag-usapan lang namin kanina to with one of our meetings with our team, no? Parang it's a good time to maybe connect with your clients or check up on them. Not really sell or do any prospecting, pero more of just be of service na you're there for them. It's planting another seed for the later period once the lockdown is lifted. No? So some things that they can do is reconnect with clients, and that might also help. You know? It's actually kind of ironic that if advisors are worried for their income, considering that we should all have that emergency fund, kasi we're preaching now we should have the emergency fund. So advisors should, I guess the realization there is that, the value of having an emergency fund talagang tumaas eh. But yun, again, at this point, really maybe reconnecting with some of your clients. You might be surprised that some of your clients have realized things as well na that would later on result into a sale or a close contract. So reconnect without really selling. Just be out there, be of service. And yun, again, like I said kanina, you just have to taste lang, tipid lang. I think our health is more valuable than whatever yung kikitain natin. I know that it's really important. I understand that na sobrang important pa rin na may income tayo and all. But again, at this point, health is of major priority, and yun lang yung may papayo ko. Just be able to tipid and then reconnect with the people around you, with your clients, relatives, and I think reconnecting lang gives it's a good nung nag-message ka, it's a good change from the routine that I have during the lockdown. At least may nakakausap na ibang tao, and also it lifts up it motivates you even more. So yun lang yung, I think at this point, yun lang pwede nating magawa.
Okay. Tsaka nakaka-motivate. Sabi mo, sobrang yaman sa Batangas. Ito tanong ko sa'yo.
Huwag kang ganyan, hindi yan.
Sinabi mo health, no? Ano mas importante sa'yo? Health, love, life?
Health muna.
Health. Okay, this is my last question. Madaming tao, and I've been asking this paulit-ulit sa lahat ng mga bago kong videos. Madaming tao ngayon, uncertain, takot, some depressed. Ngayon lang nila nadaanan to. What's your message for them? Something that will encourage them, something that will uplift them, being someone na nasa taas ng tugatong ng tagumpay.
Hindi, ako personally, I just realized na, this might be a good opportunity to, reflect, just stay out from I stay out as much as I can from social media para hindi masyadong maraming iniisip or hindi masyadong mag-worry.
Yung YouTube videos ko, wala. So, saklap, ang saklap.
Pinapanood ko yan. Hindi, pinapanood ko yan.
Okay, sige, continue. Sige, tuloy mo.
Hindi, sa mga Twitter or Facebook, I stay away pag medyo toxic na. It's a reality na, during these times, talagang matitest yung natin, yung character natin. So, I stay away from that para at least mentally I focus on the things that I can do here sa bahay, or what I can prepare for. Kasi ngayon, maybe like for those who have luxury of being able to stay home and just chill lang sa bahay, maybe it's a good time to prepare for when the lockdown ends. So if you're a freelance salesperson, you might be, like I said, reconnecting with people. If you're a office worker, maybe it's time to learn some new skills that can later help you in your craft or in your career. So this might be a good opportunity to do things that you've been thinking of, or you've been meaning to do pero hindi mo magawa because of the work that you have before. So you need time to reflect maybe, and just think of things that can help or grow ourselves, like panoorin yung mga videos ni Marvin para matuto tayo in terms of how to make as much money as he does.
Grabe yan. Nakasubscribe ka ba? Baka pinapasubscribe ka. Hindi naman nakasubscribe. Ayan. Guys,
Magsasubscribe ako.
kita mo yung ngipin niya. Hindi nakasubscribe, guys. So, hindi siya nakasubscribe. Saklap. It hurts, ha? Grabe.
Magsasubscribe ako. Sasendan kita ng screenshot.
Sige. Okay.
I-click ko rin yung bell for you.
Okay, smash the bell. Before I go, baka there are people from Batangas that might need your advice. How can they get a hold of you?
They can just email me siguro. The email is jeremyjesty@gmail.com.
Okay.
So if you have questions about any financial, anything about financial, you can just email me there. Pag love life, wag sa akin. Kay Marvin, pag love life.
So yun, jeremyjesty@gmail.com if you need.
Jeremy Jesty lang, walang time.
jeremyjesty@gmail.com if you need advice kung paano maging kasing chill nila dahil sobrang daming pera during the lockdown. So, I guess that's it. I hope madami kayo natutunan. Different topic naman. Over the past few days, we've been talking about investing, entrepreneurship, how to make money, how to save. Ngayon naman, a different aspect, insurance. Kasi I've seen so many of you ask those questions. So, if there's any question that was not covered in all of this, put them in the comment section below and then we'll make more videos on top of that as well. So, that's it for now. This is Marvin.
Comment your questions tapos pupunta ako sa video na yun.
Pwede rin.
Sa video ni Marvin and I'll answer them.
Mo, hindi ka nakasubscribe so hindi mo siya makikita, di ba?
Makikita ko nga eh. Magsusubscribe ako pagkatapos nito.
Grabe. So, I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks, Jeremy Jessitan.